This is Speaking of Justice. I'm Scott Drake on the Legal Broadcast Network. Scores nightclubs in Manhattan have been slapped with a class action lawsuit for skimping on tips from their employees. My guest is Tammy Marzigliano from the law firm Outen and Golden in New York, and she's one of the attorneys representing the employees. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about this lawsuit. We don't hear about lawsuits like this very often. How did this originate?
Well, I mean, the crux of this case is these women are working, and Scores is encouraging its customers to use what they refer to as diamond dollars, and it's a play money, to tip their workers. And when these women cash out these diamond dollars, Scores is skimming and taking a part or a percentage of that money from their employees. At the bottom line is, if someone's cashing in $20, Scores is keeping $2, and they're only getting $18 back.
How many people are involved in this lawsuit?
Well, the Scores has two clubs, the Scores East Side and the Scores West Side. Both have been named in the lawsuit, as well as Scores Holding Company and Go West Entertainment, which are some of the other entities that are named in the lawsuit. But currently, Scores East Side, which we sent out notice to, almost 100 people have opted into the lawsuit. As far as the West Side, it's currently in bankruptcy, so we've held off sending out notices at this time.
Now, how does a place like that go into bankruptcy?
I don't know. I think at some point they've lost their liquor license, and that drove them into bankruptcy. Currently, they're still there. They're digging their way apparently out of bankruptcy, although we believe that in naming Scores Holding Company, who's the parent, there's a joint employer liability, so keeps Scores West Side in. Mm-hmm. But we're still discussing that issue with the court, and we're trying to work that out.
Have you gotten any discovery yet?
No, actually. We've gotten some discovery, but we're in the process of trying to ascertain damages in this case and evaluate the worth of it. I mean, some of these women made hundreds of dollars a night, and it's a substantial amount of money. So we're trying to work out a mechanism of ascertaining damages and trying to get documents from Scores and its various entities to make that determination. So that's really where we are right now. We're in the discovery phase. As I said, we're still working out getting notices out for the people on the West Side, and their rights have been told by statute of limitations. So the claims have been preserved. We just haven't sent out those notices yet. So when we do, there are several hundred people that could possibly get those notices. But we're working on getting discovery and trying to move this case forward.
Now, these kinds of employees are fairly unusual, and they're usually paid most entirely on tips, correct?
That's correct. That's where they get most of their money.
And do they end up sharing it with other employees? I mean, we're talking about dancers here. Do they share it with bartenders and waitresses and things like that too?
Absolutely. I mean, they're required to tip out many people. I mean, they're required to tip out the makeup artist, and they have this woman that they call the house mom that helps them get ready, and they have to tip them out, and they have to tip out the bar back. So there's a lot of people that they are required to give a percentage of their money, which only just adds to the dilution of their pocketbook at the end of the day.
Do you have any idea what kind of damages we're looking at here and how long this has been going on?
I believe that it's been going on from the time that they've opened Scores. I mean, if you look on their website, they encourage people to use diamond dollars. I don't think that it's a new phenomenon. I can't tell you exactly how long the practice has been. But as far as damages, it's hard to tell until we get more documentation. Like I said, in any given day, someone could be cashing in, a few $100s in diamond dollars, or some people could be cashing in, $50. It just varies, and it depends, and it's making that determination. But some of these women made a significant amount of money.
What kind of money would somebody make on an average night there?
Oh, I think it ranges, but I think they could, make anywhere from $100 to $800, if not more. it really just depended. Sometimes they would get private parties where just, for an hour they make $500 if they entertained in a back room. And then they would go out on the floor. So, I mean, it could even be more, than 800. It really depended on any given night. I mean, we're still in the process of speaking and meeting with people, so I hate to speculate. I'm just trying to give you an average.
Right.
And as this case plays out, we'll get much more information.
Is this type of case a first for your firm? As far as the kind of establishment that you're dealing with?
We deal with a lot of. I mean, we represent a lot of employees in restaurants and in those kind of industries. We do a lot of wage and hour violations. As far as a strip club in particular, I think it's fair to say this is probably at least my first strip club case, and I think I could say out in Golden.
Yeah, I'm guessing that there's these types of clubs too have lots of different regulations as well. Do you anticipate a lot of difficulty in that area?
What do you mean by different regulations?
Well, it's not run like an average restaurant or an average a business, and these dancers, I guess, I'm not sure. Do they sign employment agreements with a club like this, or do they just become normal employees and get a 1099? Are they independent contractors or what?
Well, now you're bringing up a whole host of different legal issues. To answer your general question, yes, it's not run like a restaurant would, let's say. They have different policies, practices, and procedures, which are pretty much the same for everyone, no matter whether you're a bartender or you're a dancer. Everybody's required to abide by the same policies and procedures. At least that's our argument. Scores would probably take a different position. Well, would take a different position on that. As far as whether or not they're independent contractors, that's a legal issue that again, both sides would take a different position on. So there are many different variables here that I think you're right. It's not a cookie cutter case of employment. They're just different variables that we're working out. But at the end of the day, each one of these women, no matter what job they did, were not. A customer thought that they were tipping them a certain amount of money, and they were not getting that money.
Right.
And the bottom line is that's not fair. They're entitled to the losses. They're entitled to it, and they're just not getting paid what they're supposed to.
My guest is Tammy Marzigliano from the firm out in Golden in New York. Tammy, we appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
And good luck with the case.
Thank you.
This is Scott Drake, speaking of justice, and you're watching the Legal Broadcast Network.